Okay, I've laid in a bright lemon yellow and new gamboge right here, where it's to remind me that that's where the brightest area is going to be. And then I've got that lightness behind these clouds right here. So now I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to lay in a wash of the orange. And this is not pre-wet. I'm just going to charge it right into that yellow. And then I'm going to take and dance around this I'm going to keep a wet edge. And I'm going to dance right around this yellow that I just put down. Not touching it if I can possibly not touch it. It'll be okay if I do. You need to be using a smaller brush than I'm using here, because that's going to be, then we're going to go right into the clouds and touch into the yellow paint in the clouds. That should give us that glow underneath the cloud, if I'm doing this right. And those clouds are kind of random. So now we're going to come right up to the edge here and touch into that. And come back here. Just run along the edge of the mountains. And if you touch in there, it's not a problem. So bring that wash on down here, right here. Come to the edge here. That pencil line on the clouds is a little too strong. I did my pencil line darker so that you could see what I'm doing. But for your sake, you need to do a much lighter line here, or don't draw the clouds in. Just paint them in, which you can also do. So now, once we get around the clouds, we'll just carry that nice wash right on up here. Trying to keep a wet bead so that we don't have any significant lines here. And always make sure that you have enough paint to cover the whole area that you're covering. And now, because I want my clouds to be linear, I'm gonna carry my paper, hold my paper this way. And we got a hard line there. We need to soften. So the easiest way to soften a line, if you get a hard mark you don't like, is to wet it with water and then just drag it out. And because it's a sky, it doesn't have to be a perfectly smooth wash. Just softening around any of these areas, catching anything that's hard. And as long as you have your paper's wet, you can be modifying this. Okay. I think we're going to make our orange a brighter orange this time. We're going to push that orange as bright as we can make it. So we are going to try the lemon yellow. Let's let it dry like that. And the quinacridone magenta, no, excuse me, rose, quinacridone rose. And I'm sorry you can't see me mixing this, but this is, I'm mixing in this plate right here. I'm mixing the yellows right in there. To get a much brighter, more vivid orange. So we'll try that next time. Lots of water. Here's our other orange over here. It's a softer orange. Okay. That is very wet. So I'm going to go back in here and soften all this. Just re-wet the whole area because I don't like how that is behaving. This is the easiest way to correct mistakes, is just to re-wet it. All right, we're going to try it again. This time we have a much more pinky mix. Remembering that watercolor dries lighter. And since I've pre-wet it this time, it should be a much smoother wash. Just going around those lighter areas in the clouds. Trying to get that glow from behind. Yeah, I like that orange better. We'll see how that dries. Okay, I think that's going to be better. Now just leave it alone, quit and dry it, and see what we've got. Okay, I've wet the paper again. This time I'm going in with a much redder orange. So I added quite a bit of the quinacridone rose to my mix. And I'm going everywhere except that brightest yellow area right there. And I'm going to skip up here around the clouds. And again, I'm using this very big wash brush, so I get a very soft look. So when you're doing these washes, the larger the brush, the smoother the wash. generally. And very wet wash. And I like that color better. I'm going to go right in with pure lemon yellow right here, right over that. See if we can capture that yellow right there. Okay, so I'm liking that better. I have darkened up the clouds a little bit just by doing it this way with a kind of a fiddly motion. You don't want it to look too solid, contrived. This is that same mixture. So we'll darken this gradually as we go. Just kind of a random dabbing, I guess. Dabbing it in rather than a smooth wash in there. That's just the shadows of the clouds. And that is catching in that warped part of the paper there, but that's okay. Should have painted this on arches. Most of my beginners use this paper, but my more advanced students generally use arches. That's what I generally recommend. Okay, so we're going to let that dry, and we will be back.